Monday and welcome to Meeting of the Minds Mondays. I'm your host Intellects, and our topic for this month is part 3 of creating generational wealth. We are sticking to this topic until the end of the year, and we're going to start off the new year with a new topic. So before we jump right on in, I just want to congratulate our winners from our showcase from last night, to Jabril and Mike for winning the grand prize. All right. And so if you are interested in participating in this upcoming showcase or any of our showcases coming up, you can go to intellects.com or click that link in our bio to register today. All right. We have so many different things going on at Intellects. If you want to stay up to date on all things Intellects, make sure to download our app, the Artrepreneurs Hub, under the Mighty Networks. We also have email subscriptions, which are free 99, member fees, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on all of our content and all the goodies that we have for you all. All right, so for the sake of time, we're going to jump right on in. So last month, we talked about creating generational wealth through one of the experts in the field, Myron Golden. If you didn't catch that one, check out our last episode either here or on our YouTube channel, as well as our app. We have it all there as well. Okay, so this time around, we are going to look at a few different people, how they created income for themselves, some tips that they might have for you, and to see if you can connect to anyone who is spotlighted today so that we can see what is good for you, because everything is not good for everybody, right? Everything is not for everybody. And so when it comes to creating generational wealth, you got to do what's best for you. You have to do what connects with you. And so being able to connect on that level when it comes to wealth, you definitely want to do something that you love to do, that you're passionate about, and something that's not just about money, because wealth is not just about money, right? So we're going to jump right into this, okay? And I hope you all are having a great Monday so far. All right, so we are going to hear from somebody who is an influencer and who does this for a living, who makes a good income doing what he does. His name is Snooge. If you follow him on YouTube, on socials, he has a lot of great content, and he breaks it down in a way for people to really understand. And so I want you all to listen to him as he speaks to several different people about how to create wealth and what they do, how they got to that point, how they can help others get to that point. All right, so we're going to jump right on in.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Orange County, Irvine to be exact. Right behind me is SoCal Startup Day. It's one of the largest events where high-level individuals, entrepreneurs, investors, startups all get to mingle, network, build relationships. So you guys already know what the deal is. Since there's so many high-level individuals here, we're going to ask these people, how do we become multi-millionaires? How do we get to your position? Every single person here is doing something, is highly successful. Also, guys, a lot of y'all always ask me about how I grew my YouTube channels. I got millions of subscribers, got multiple channels, got millions of views. I am doing a masterclass where I will scale your YouTube channel literally from ground zero to 5 to 6 figures a month. This is a Black Friday special, Black Friday sale for only $19. If I'm doing it and I still continue to do it till this day, why would you want to learn from somebody else that's not actually doing it? So if you're at a job that you hate and you're trying to grow on YouTube, you're trying to build your brand, your personal brand, I will help you. I'll give you all the shortcuts, all my expertise, so you can make 5 to 6 figures a month. Click that link in the description below. Join this masterclass today. Let's get the video started. How you doing, sir? I'm Snooge.
Nice to meet you, Snooge. I'm Scott Fox.
Scott Fox. What do you do for work?
What I do for work? Well, my kids have trouble answering that, too. I guess you'd say I'm an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I've been at that for a long time. I started my first .com company back during Web 1.0, and I've done a lot of startups, These days I work with a lot of startups, but mostly as an investor.
In your position right now, how much can one make per year?
You could make millions, and you might lose it all. In general, the harder you work, the better research you do, the more relationships you develop, the better your odds will get.
Right, no, for sure. Now, would you say you're in the 7-figure plus range?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever been part of an exit?
Yes, there are a number of the companies. I wasn't lucky enough. This is something for everybody to remember. You don't necessarily have to win every time, right? This is just like going to Vegas, right? So my own company, the one I spent the most time on, I actually almost went bankrupt. This is about 25 years ago, right?
This is the Web 1.0?
Web 1.0.
Okay.
And that was a venture capital-backed company. I put all my own money in it, some of my family's money, and lost it all, basically.
How much money did you put in?
About $500,000.
Yeah.
And that was 25 years ago money, so more like $1 million.
Oh, yeah, for
right?
sure, yeah.
So it really hurt.
Absolutely.
Right? But the point is, you learn from that, and I kind of thought about it like being an MBA, right? And so I learned from that, and I picked myself up, and I worked for some other people for a while. You learn some skills, and then you learn how to recognize the patterns that lead to success, and I started investing. So I've made more from investing in other people's exits than in my own, actually.
Right. What was the biggest exit you were a part of? What was that number?
Oh, the biggest number?
Yeah.
483 million.
483 million.
Yeah. Again, as an investor, you just have a little piece, right? But the nice thing is you're relying on smart people like Snooch to do the work and build it, right? And then you get to cash out hopefully a little piece later.
If somebody wanted to get into investing, right, what is the first step exactly? Because I know there's lots of websites out there you can angel invest.
Yeah.
Do you recommend that, or do you recommend another way?
Well, I think that YouTube is a great place to start.
Okay.
There's lots of videos, right? I have many videos on my YouTube channel, for example. But to learn to invest, I would take small amounts and put them into a few things. And these days, like AngelList and stuff, you can get involved in what are called syndicates. So you can put in as little as maybe $500 or $1,000 and do that 6, 8, 10 times, and then gradually learn the game. That's how I started. I think my first startup investment was about 12 years ago, and I think it was $1,400.
Wow.
So that's not nothing, but it's not, it's not like mortgaging your house either. And I lost that money, right?
Yeah.
The company was too early. I learned, and you try again, So it's a process. Well, honestly, the best investment I found is in myself. So this is kind of a cop-out answer, but I have ideas of my own. I put $5,000 or $10,000 and build a website, and I've done this like 25 times, and 3 or 4 of them will pay for all the rest. And that portfolio approach, I think, is what you want to do. Certainly in investing, but maybe even in your own career. It's not the fashion anymore to have one job and hold it for 40 years, right?
Yeah.
If you have the opportunity, as you do today, with open source software and all the online tools you can use, you can try a bunch of stuff on your own. And if you can find a niche where people need help and you can fill it, that's a business.
Yeah.
Whether it's pizza or it's t-shirts or it's software or medical devices, right? Solving problems is the heart of any business. So I've written 3 books about this. If you go to Amazon.com, you can read my book, Click Millionaires.
Okay.
The most recent one. Internet Riches and E-Riches 2.0. It's all on Amazon.com if you want.
My man, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Yeah. How you doing, sir? I'm Snooge. Dave, nice to meet you. What do you do for work?
Well, I own a national chain of screen print shops called Plug T-Shirt Store, and we're here today launching our Amazon marketplace for printing called Plug World.
Okay, for sure. Now, how long you been doing that for?
Plug World we've been working on that for about a year. I've owned screen print shops for the last 5 years.
5 years. What were you doing before that?
I was a special ed teacher.
Really? Okay.
Wrestling coach, special ed teacher, and got into screen printing, was doing it out the garage, and just wanted to do a model that could be franchised out. So that was always the goal.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, how much can one make in your position with everything that you're doing right now per year?
So in my position, we have stores total, you combine everything, they're probably around $20 million.
$20 million.
We have stores that are performing at 1.2 annually.
Okay.
So,
to get to your level, right? Because you're a special ed teacher and now you're doing whatever you're doing. How did that transition right there in between? Like
a lot of research. So I knew that if I was going to move away from teaching, that I wanted to do something really big. So I need to make sure that when I opened the first store, it had to be replicable. I had to standardize a lot of things from pricing, training, and things like that. Once we got that down the first year, then we started to really look to expand.
Yeah.
Because we felt like we had the whole basics down.
There's a lot of people that are stuck. Maybe they're afraid to start their first thing.
Yeah.
What is your advice to those people there? Because that's a transition. Like, I'm sure that were you confident in it? Like, you know, starting out far, because I know it's a lot.
No, you know, so I actually dropped down to be a substitute teacher because I wasn't sure if it was going to work. But
okay.
I'm a firm believer in education. You know, I'll be honest with you. I took classes at community colleges. You know, and the reason why I did that was because those classes are taught by working professionals.
Yeah.
If I take a marketing, advertising class, a brand class, that's somebody who runs an ad agency during the day. If I need a bookkeeping class, you know, I go take that. That's an accountant that works all day.
Yeah.
You know, versus going to universities and paying a lot of money, and they just teach the same stuff every year.
Yeah.
I knew if I went there and took certain classes, I would get, you know, basically an advisor.
No, exactly.
In that area.
Yeah, I like that.
That's kind of what I did leading up to it. I would go take specific classes. I don't need a whole nother degree.
Right.
I just got to pay $300, get my marketing class, get my branding.
Educate
you know,
yourself.
Yeah. I need a franchise. I need to know how that works. How does franchise work? Because, you know, there's a pattern to it.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I suggest doing that. It's a very cheap way to get advisors.
What's the goal for this this new project you got going, this new company?
So we did our MVP and we launched in Chicago. We've been open 5 weeks.
5 weeks, huh?
5 weeks,
Okay.
90,000 in the 5 weeks in revenue.
Okay.
We're cash flow positive. 2 days after we launched, we got our first investor for $100,000.
Nice.
You know, just on Monday, we got another investor for $30,000. We're looking to raise $5 million, Series A. We're going to now launch our national platform. So we just wanted to show that we can, you know, this actually works. There's a need for it.
Okay.
The people we're working with, they actually built the platform is from improving.com. They built and maintain American Airlines, American Express,
Nice.
GameStop, Firefly. So
What is it called again, so people can see?
plugworld.com.
Plugworld.com. But where can people find you? Instagram, LinkedIn?
Instagram is Plugworld Inc. TikTok, Plugworld Inc. Facebook, just Plugworld.
What do you tell like the aspiring entrepreneur starting from ground zero to get to that next level? Like, what are some practical tips for them?
Real easy. Do your research, and then go to events like this so you can start working. Because people are going to guide you in the right direction. If you're looking for information, you got to get out here and you got to do it. You got to start somewhere. You never know the direction it's going to take you. It's not linear. It's, you know, you're going to go up here, you're going to go over here, and you just be amazed where you'll finish.
Yeah.
You got to get out there and you got to do research.
100%. Now, how can people find these type of events?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So I went, I Googled and found the first event in Dallas.
Google. There you go.
I went to the Dallas one. From there, I found my first investor. Then I got in contact with Steve, who ran this one. He invited me out here. You just never know. Then I met Lou on Monday. He invited me out to another group yesterday where I met another VC.
Gotcha.
You know, it's just you got, like I said, if you go, then you're gonna find your way through.
How you doing, sir? I'm Snooge.
Reggie Grant, my pleasure.
Nice to meet you. What do you do for work?
I consult with early stage founders, CEOs, help the management team to understand the dynamic process of creating a culture of success. Focusing, they get discombobulated and let people pull them off their track to success. Help them generate revenues and be more dynamic and direct with what they do, and prepare them to help raise capital.
Okay, so that point. So you consult the top dogs.
The owner.
The owner.
If it ain't your boo-boo, then why are we having a conversation?
Exactly.
Like golf. The reason I go golf Monday through Friday because that's for the CEO, the senior executives.
That's the guy we want right here. Yeah.
The owners of the business. I played golf last week with a guy. One guy owned a software company. The other guy owned a consulting company. Another guy was a retired guy, had lots of real estate.
In your position right now, being a consultant for the top dogs, the owners, the founders, how much can one make per year doing that?
Well, again, it depends on how much you want to work. I'm on the back end. I'm old. So
what's like a range?
You can make $50,000 to $2.5 million.
Now, to get to your position, do what you do right now. What are some tips, practical tips to people out there to get to where you're at?
Well, again, business is about being adaptable, being persistent, and sticking to your goals. Surround yourself with people that can elevate you, and sometimes you're going to elevate somebody else. Surround yourself with people that can elevate you. I golf, so that means last week I played with a guy that's a venture capitalist out of New York.
Yeah.
I just happened to meet him at the golf course. So you have to be in the room and have the conversation. We would have never met had you not been in this room.
True.
Had I not been in this room.
That's facts,
right?
Yeah.
So business is about people, working relationships.
Relationships.
Right? So networking gets you in the room. Then you have to evolve a relationship. We have a conversation. We have another conversation. I'm comfortable with you.
Yeah.
Now we're going to do some business.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good.
It's not like the old boy network. People say, no. It's about comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right? Do you golf?
I don't golf.
Okay, so I used to do 95% of my business at the golf course. I used to be there 6 days a week.
Okay.
And I did my business there because I see you 2 or 3 times. We have a conversation. Then we actually golf together, spend 3-4 hours. Now I know who you are and your personality. Are you a nice guy? You're a good guy? How do you handle adversity?
Yeah.
Are you one of them knucklehead boo-boo-magoos?
Yeah.
MFs that I don't want to mess with because we playing for $1 a hole and you kick the ball out the rough.
So you
What
give it
the
some
hell?
time. Yeah, you give it some time to figure it out.
So you
Yeah.
evaluate who and what you want to do business. You can't do business with everybody. You can't save everybody. Family is not always going to be with you. You got to be focused on your success journey, right?
love
And it's
that,
okay. It's okay to fail. People say, I can't. No. Failure is part of the steps to success.
That's true.
Failure is part of the steps to success. Surround yourself with people that elevate you and that and be able to be coachable.
I love that.
Right?
Man.
So,
Yeah.
I when I was teaching 12-year-olds and 17-year-olds and in high school or middle school, I learned from them kids every day.
How you doing, sir?
Excellent.
I'm Snooge. What's your name?
All right, so we are going to take a quick pause. As you can see, Snooge is interviewing a few different people who are successful and asking them how they got to that point. So far we've only heard from 3 people, and there's a few more that he's going to be interviewing. And a few points that I wanted to kind of pause to kind of go over just for a little bit talks about how you have to learn skills, right? Find something that you're good at. Find a system that works for you and a system that works for the people that you are trying to reach, your target audience, your target market, right? So the difference between a target audience and a target market is the people that you're trying to reach and the people who are going to be getting that to the people you're trying to reach. So if your target market is mothers, your audience would be children, spouses, parents, things of that nature, to where if you want to get to the mothers, the people that's going to be buying for the mothers is everyone else. So that would be your audience. Your market would be the mothers. All right, so that's just a little tip, a little tidbit on that. All right, so learn some skills. Once you learn them skills, find a system that works, because the system is what makes people successful, not necessarily the skills. You got to have a combination. All right, recognize patterns that lead to success. And when it comes to investing, if that's something that you're interested in, someone said on here, YouTube is a great place to start. YouTube University. They have absolutely everything on YouTube that you can find. YouTube, Google, all those things. Do your research, okay? How bad do you want it is how bad you're going to prepare to get it, all right? And you don't really want something if you're not preparing for it. That'll let somebody know how bad you actually want it because you are working towards getting that. All right, take small amounts and invest for those who want to invest. They call them syndicates. And you could put in from 500 to 1,000. And, you might lose, you might gain, but that's why you're putting in small amounts. Failing is a part of the process. So when something doesn't go right, that's a blessing, all right? It's just the way we look at it. So focus on, taking a risk and putting yourself out there, knowing it may not work all the time. That is okay. But just take that risk, all right? Invest in yourself. The best way to invest is in yourself. Not in what other people want you to do, not in how you think things should be or where they should be or whatever. Invest in yourself. Do what is best for you internally. Don't just try to fill yourself up with things on the outside and your inside is empty. Read, study, learn who you are, learn what you're great at and perfect it, master it, to where people will know that's an expert right there, because the ones who have mastered their field, you know who they are. The first person that comes to your mind, first top people that come to your mind are the ones who've mastered what they do. All right, so if you want to be the best of the best and you want to master what you do, go at it. go hard, learn, and invest, because that investment will yield great results. If you are afraid to start, do it scared anyway. Take a chance on yourself. Take that risk, because 9 times out of 10, that risk is going to land you in a better position than you are now. And if you are not changing anything, nothing changes if nothing changes. So when you are at a point where you are willing to make a change, you are at a point where it might be desperation, frustration. You just, tired of being tired, sick and tired of being sick and tired, all these things, right? But you have to put in the work. Nothing is going to be handed to any of us. We have to put in the work for what we want. If we want our businesses to get to, 5 and 6 figure months or years, we have to do that much more work. And a lot of people think when you become an entrepreneur that it's going to be easier. No, you got to put in 2, 3, 4, 5 times the work that you did on a 9 to 5, because at the end of the day, a 9 to 5 is a great way to level up if you play your part right. However, a lot of the things behind the scenes is already done for you, so you don't have to do it at a 9 to 5. When you are building your business or you're building your brand up from the bottom, you have to do everything that is already being done for you other places. So that's what you got to keep in mind. You got to work 10, 12, 14 hours, stay up late, get up early, grind, and then you can relax when you get to a certain point, or you can rest, or you can get more sleep, or you can do more things that you might want to do. But in the beginning, no ma'am, no sir, you got to put that work in. All right, so just keep that in mind. Create a goal for yourself, right? And do your best to reach that goal. Even if you don't get all the way there, keep that goal until you reach it, and then move on to the next one, right? We got #goals reached that we are doing all year. So you create a goal while you are working on it, or when you accomplish it, post it, send it out, send us, videos, comments, whatever with #goals reached, so that we know that you are accomplishing your goals, because we want to see you work on something. We want to see how good you are at crossing those things off your list. #goals reached, all right? I want to see some videos, some commentary, some content with that hashtag, so that we know that y'all are working on y'all stuff. Connect with others. So Google is a good way to network, to find out where different events are, going to different seminars, connecting with different people. Social media is a good way to find different events as well. But connecting with others, learning and finding what things that you have in common is a good way to connect and network. And however much you want to make depends on how hard you want to work, right? And so be adaptable, be persistent, stick to your goals, and surround yourself with people who can elevate you and elevate your business and what you have going on. Networking is about building those relationships, being coachable, and business is about relationships. So the wealth is not in the things that you get in, it's about the people that you connect with, and all of those things. All right, so that's what we've got so far. We're going to jump back in to do this second half, and then we're going to wrap it up. And I hope you all have gotten something from this series. All right, and for those of you who want to connect and want to have more information on how you can scale your business or do different things, definitely connect with us. All right, so we are going to jump right back in to the rest of our video.
Hey, Snooge. Robert.
Robert, nice to meet you. What do you do for work?
Oh, I'm the CEO. Am I looking at you, or am I looking at
you? You could look at the camera or me. It doesn't matter.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll do it both. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Snooge, I'm the CEO of Thumbs Up.
Okay. Well, you're wearing right there.
Exactly.
Okay. And is this the only thing you do?
This is my main gig.
Okay. What did you do before that?
Oh, well, I've been a startup entrepreneur for a long time. I've started several startup technology companies.
Really?
And this is my latest. Thumbs Up is a platform that makes it really easy for any brand or business to pay people cash to post about their brand or business online.
Interesting.
So what business doesn't want people to tell their friends about their business online?
That is true.
I would say every business does.
Yeah.
And we make it really easy for any business to give a cash reward for people to tell their friends about their business on their personal social media.
I like that. And now a little bit more about you and your past startups.
Oh, cool.
Now, did you have any exits, successful exits, or what happened there?
So great question. Thumbs up is going to be Robert Steele's.
This is the one. Okay, this is the one.
So I've been at this a while.
Yeah.
So I started a company in the copyright software protection space, have clients like Warner Brothers, Sony, but didn't have a big exit. Okay. And then I was early in the mobile space.
Are you able to say the number?
My last company grew to a valuation of $100 million.
Wow.
At its peak.
What were you doing before all the startups?
I've been doing it since I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, so I started my first technology company when I was 13 years old, making game controllers for the Apple
13
II.
years old?
Yes. So when the Apple II was taken off,
something
called a joystick,
right, that's
the
crazy.
Nintendo thing. So I made them and sold them to the local computer stores.
That is so
when I was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
So that's how I started. That was my first technology company. So then I started a tax processing software company in college.
Okay.
And then I started with two friends a computer-aided design software company that's in Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay.
So I did that for about 10 years. It still does well today.
What is it doing per year?
$3 million a year.
It's cool because like you started this at 13 years old. Who gave you that mindset? Like how did you were just like very interested in just building and inventing things?
Snooge, right?
Yeah, Snooge.
Okay,
yeah.
Snooge is asking good questions. My parents thought this was really strange. You're like, who is this kid?
Yeah, 13 years old. Man, you're just crazy.
So I come from a family of teachers. My dad was in the military, so there were no entrepreneurs around me as a young person. And so I think where it possibly started is that that I had this really unique experience where I had a neighbor who got me into computers really, really early. Okay, so I had this neighbor. He was this is again back in the day.
Yeah.
But he literally had a mainframe computer. It's like something out of a movie. He had a mainframe computer in his basement.
Yeah.
And I was in grade school. And he was really friendly. He had a young child, and he would invite me over, and I literally learned to program, before I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
So that
was the start.
So that gave me this access to this adult world at an early age. Okay, and it gave me a skill. I was good at it.
Yeah.
All right. So that was the first piece. Then the second piece was that in the early days of the computer revolution, it was being done by young people.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there were other people, not a whole lot older than me, that I was reading about that were making a big impact. And so there were role models, and I think that led me on the path, and then I think that what you see in common is that entrepreneurs see opportunities where other people don't see opportunities.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I felt like at an early age I could see, there's a need for this, and there's a need for that, and there's a need for this. And at the end of the day, it does take money to make anything happen.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to sell to make things happen. So then the final sort of answer to your question as a young person was that when I was 14 years old, I got invited to a show, like one of these, something like this. Yeah. The co-founder of Apple Computer was there.
Okay,
so I was 14. There's two Steves, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak.
Yeah, so you met him.
I was 14 years old, and Steve Wozniak walked by.
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, Steve." And he was 28. He just had the biggest IPO in the history of NASDAQ, as is my recollection.
Yeah.
And I asked him if he would go out to lunch with me. And I had lunch one-on-one with the co-founder of Apple when I was 14. He was 28.
Okay.
That was a life-changing experience.
Wow.
Because he was only 14 years older than me, and he took the time to have lunch with a kid. I mean, I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So then I was on.
Yeah.
It was on. Once I had seen and met one of my heroes like that,
that was it right there.
Never turned back.
So this comes to my last question. How does one get to your shoes, or how does one get to that type of level of success that you had?
I don't like the word unemployment.
Okay.
So I think it starts there. That everybody has something that they can do that other people would pay them for. Okay? So I believe that it's really about courage. Okay?
Yeah.
That all you need is some courage to say, I can go out there and I can find something that I can do that other people will pay me for. Okay, everybody's got something. Then now they're going to have to think about it, and they're going to have to make some mistakes.
Yeah.
But if they just keep trying, what's my thing that I can do that people will pay me for? That leads to a much better path in life, in my opinion, because you have more control over your own destiny.
Yeah.
Your income is essentially unlimited when you are self-employed, work for yourself.
Yeah.
It's just about what you can make happen. So I really encourage people that it's primarily just about having the courage and being able to make mistakes. And then the last thing I would say is it's also important to keep your costs low. Okay, all right. You
keep the costs low, having the courage.
That what you find about people who have made money is that in the beginning, before they had some money, keeping the cost low is really, really really important. If you look at the lives of great successful people who started with nothing, that's key. Is that they learn to live cheap until they have some net worth.
Okay, this is some great advice.
So throughout my careers, to be able to do this over and over and over, I have to learn how to get small. You know, so I've done it when it didn't work.
Yeah.
And then you got to come up with plan. What's the next plan?
Yeah.
All right. So I got to get small.
Yeah.
So that I can start again.
Got you.
Yeah.
My man. Well, thank you so much for your time. How do people find you? Do you have like an Instagram, a LinkedIn? Like
got it all.
Okay. What's your Instagram?
So first thing is just Google thumbs up. THUMZUP. Thumbs up. Google it. You're going to see all kinds of videos. You're going to see app in the App Store, and then Robert Steele, STEELE. Thumbs up. You'll see all my Instagram, all my LinkedIn.
Sounds
good. Reach out. Say hello.
How you doing, sir? I'm Snooj.
Anshuman Sinha.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, of course. What do you do for work?
I'm an investor. I invest in startups.
Okay.
And on the other side, I have a startup also. It is a deal flow platform.
Okay.
Where startups can come and apply, and then their application get broadcasted to 3,000 plus investors in the US.
Okay. How long you been doing that for?
2 years now.
2 years. And how long you been a investor for startups?
8 years.
8 years. And what were you doing before that?
Oh, I'm a talent guy, so I run an executive search firm called Optism Global, and now I have created a new company called Startup Talent. Just focus on finding talent for the startup companies.
I like that. Now, one in your position, how much can one make per year doing that?
Let me talk about Startup Talent. We are still building it, and there are customers already on the platform. So easy, $3 to $4 million in revenue per year within 2 years.
Okay.
Once you start.
Okay.
And then somebody will acquire you one day, maybe 5 years down the line.
Okay,
cool.
cool.
Do it right.
So if somebody wanted to be in your shoes, start a company like yours, and also be an investor, what are some practical tips to get to your position?
First, start attending events. Start meeting with investors. Start meeting with.
How do you meet with investors? Is the question.
To events such like this. I can see there are at least 20 plus investors in the room so far.
So how does one find an event like this?
So look at your local geographical area. Do a Google search. Eventbrite is another good one.
Eventbrite, okay.
And then just a simple Google search. Startup events happening near me.
Okay.
Something like that.
Got you.
Go to LinkedIn groups.
LinkedIn.
Signing up. LinkedIn is the best way to connect with serious investors and startup founders. And anybody that you want to do business with. I'll tell you, I have 24,000 followers on LinkedIn.
That's a lot. You guys pop it on LinkedIn.
So if you're producing good content like you do, then people will start following you. And then, from there, they will become your customer one day.
I like that. What are some tips to the aspiring entrepreneur, business person out there? How can they get to the next level?
They start doing it. Don't go into overthinking. That will I succeed or not. You will pivot. Look at any $1 billion startup right now, or the valuation, the unicorns. All those startups have pivoted. They started with something else, including Facebook. It started as a college app to find college students. And then share information there. And look where they are today. So you will pivot. So whatever the idea is, jump into it, test the water, go full force into it. Just don't start putting everything on a piece of paper and rewriting it that my proposal should be top grade and things like that.
Just do it.
Just do it.
I like that, man. Everybody just overthinks too much. I just do it. I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Where can people find you?
So I'm on LinkedIn, Anshuman. My first name, Anshuman01, is my LinkedIn
right here
profile. And
here,
this is the QR code.
Okay, that's We'll find you on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How you doing, sir? I'm Snooge.
I'm David.
What do you do for work?
Kind of don't work. I'm chairman of Tech Coast Angels. We are about 400 accredited investors in 5 networks in the United States.
Okay, so chairman, huh? Okay, so how long you been doing that for?
Well, I've been with TCA for about 15 years now.
15 years.
It's a long time, and I was, prior to chairman, I was vice chairman. Prior to that, president of Tech Coast Angels, Orange County.
In your position right now, how much can one make per year doing it?
We invest in a lot of companies, but out of 10 companies, 6 will go belly up. So there was a company called Parcel Pending, which was a company by Lori Torres, and that one, if you put in $100,000, you would have made $2.2 million. So that gives you a perspective. The probability is fairly small because you have to, again, it's a matter of finding that one large company to make up for all the other companies that go belly up or flame out. So it's a matter of having a very diverse portfolio, and that's why.
What was the most money you made in a single year?
I mean, my best year was, significant. Let me put it that way. To be an accredited investor, you have to have a certain amount of capital, free capital to invest.
How much capital would you need?
You need at least $1 million in discretionary income, or not discretionary income, discretionary capital to spend, not including a house.
What's your strategy on finding the right startups to invest
so that's
in?
a better question.
Yeah.
That was an easy one to answer. So we have a very discreet process over at Tech Coast Angels. You apply online, and then you can apply to one of our 5 entities.
Okay.
And we have Meta Angels, which is a specialty group in medical health tech.
Okay.
Inland Empire, Pasadena Angels, LA, and Orange County. So there's 5 groups.
Okay.
That you can apply to. Each one has a little different focus, but they overlap. Once you apply, it goes through a pre-screening review where you get a subset of the larger investment people.
Yeah.
We make a decision to move it ahead to screening. If it goes to screening, then we vote on whether or not this makes sense to go into due diligence. And if it goes into due diligence, then with that in mind, it goes to funding, and then we can syndicate with a variety of companies in which we syndicate.
We're
syndicating through a group called the Angel Syndication Network with upwards of 50 plus companies.
Gotcha.
50 different angel groups.
Okay, for sure. How does one get to your position where you're able to even invest any type of money? Where did you start from?
I started growing up poor in New York and had a desire always to be a VC, but I never made enough money to be a VC, so I became a mini VC, what I call an angel.
Okay.
I've been very fortunate. I came out of the corporate world, and when we look at the backgrounds of the investors that we have in our group, many have come out of legal, some have come out of the corporate world, some have come out of building small companies, some have been doctors, some have been lawyers. It's all over the board. I made money through my corporate world.
Where were you working in the corporate world?
I was head of marketing.
Okay.
U.S. Cellular. At the time, they were a publicly traded company on the Amex. I was a vice president at Boeing.
Oh, you're the vice president of that?
No, not anymore. I was years ago.
Okay.
But so it just, when you get to the corporate world and you get to a position where you have the ability to get equity and options, if you're smart, you can make good money. And I was very lucky. I mean, I think luck comes into it more than people imagine.
You started in a company that you started from the lower ranks and you worked your way up, and then...
Well, I worked my way up through different companies.
Yeah, different companies. You worked your way up, and then that's when you started making some money so you could invest.
Then I started investing.
Got you.
Then I started investing in the market and playing other things.
An aspiring entrepreneur out there that's starting from ground zero, what do you tell them? How did they get to that level? How did they get to the next level?
Yeah,
what are some tips?
So come up with a really good idea. Spend a lot of time at events like this one. Ask a lot of questions. But the most important thing is have a good idea, build a good team around you, and go to a lot of these pitch contests. Try it out. Get feedback. Speak to investors before you really need the investment dollars. And when you do the pitching, I kind of like teach a way to do it. Make sure you have a good elevator pitch so people understand the context of what you're pitching.
Yeah.
Build the relationship with the investing community. Know who your investors are. Find out what they invest in. And make sure they understand what it is. Let's say you were married or you had a daughter. I can say, Imagine if your wife had cancer, what would you want to do, or had breast cancer, or if your daughter were trying to buy clothing for this and she wanted to buy it on consignment.
I see what you're doing.
Have a system that does this using this technology. That builds the relationship and makes it a little more personal.
Yeah.
And then you tell the better story, why it's a good business and why it's a good investable business.
Yeah.
Because when we look at things from an angel investing point of view, we want to make sure it's a good business that's scalable, as well as making sure it's investable, which means that we get a good return on our investment over 5 to 7 years.
Got you. Okay.
So there's no magic to it. It's a lot of work. And the best thing you can have if you're an entrepreneur, perseverance and a hard exterior shell, because there's a lot of missteps along the way. You just got to keep with it.
Yeah. No, that's great advice. How you doing, sir? I'm Snooge.
Dan Barnard.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
What do you do for work?
What do you do for work? I help companies that are in startup mode scale their product, get it out in the market, help them raise capital, help them find distribution channels, sales, if they're already in revenue and they need additional capital, whether it's in the form of a loan or equity. We find that money to really accelerate their growth.
I see. So now, are you considered an investor, or is there another term for it?
I am sometimes most of the time an investor.
Okay.
But I'm a consultant.
Consultant,
and
investor.
I help match folks who have interest in investing or lending to the company in some form.
Okay.
To help with their growth and sales and market.
I see. Now, how long have you been doing this for?
So I've been doing this for 5 years. I've been in the investment wealth management space for 25 years prior to that. So I have a lot of experience with dealing with professionals, investors, and now in the last 5 years, private equity, startup companies, medical technology companies, software companies. So yeah.
To get to your shoes, to be where you're at right now, what are some practical tips to get there?
Oh, lots of years.
Lots of years, okay.
And having a passion and interest in high school, to be in business, attending college 5 years.
So you think college is necessary at today's time?
Not necessarily, no, because there's so many opportunities to make money as an entrepreneur. And looking back, would I have waited for 5 years in college to get my degree? Or would I have gone right into business as a realtor like my dad was? I look back and, but this has been the path that I wanted to get a degree.
Yeah.
I wanted to have that certificate and that satisfaction, knowing that I put a lot of effort in. And then I got business skills during college, leadership skills, relationship skills, and how to deal with people. And then that launched me into a job in Chicago. So when I've been able to get a job in Chicago without a degree, not for this company,
So it just depends, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So cool. Well, how do people find you? Are you on Instagram or LinkedIn?
I'm on Instagram, AZ Private Equity.
Okay.
AZ Private Equity.
Private Equity.
If they want to go to Spotify or iTunes and check out my podcast, it's Capital.
Oh, you got a podcast?
Yeah,
okay.
Capital Fit.
Okay.
Money, Capital, Fit, Fitness. You're fit, I'm fit.
Yeah. Let's do it. Okay.
Capital Fit on Spotify, iTunes.
Okay.
You tell me I'm something you need, but baby, you know that I'm.
All right, so that was again Snooge, who is an influencer, and he, does a pretty good living with interviewing successful people and asking them how they got to that point, any advice that they can give. And so they pretty much, the people that he interviewed for the second half were saying similar things to what we've already went over in the first half. Just a couple things. Start what you love to do as early as you can. There will be people in your life who will support your dream or who will believe in you. And so, like the one guy, he was young. He started when he was a teenager, started even younger than that, and his parents didn't know what was going on, but eventually they ended up, helping him along the way. And so sometimes you just have to take a risk on yourself and bet on yourself and be willing to, invest in yourself and invest in what you have going on, so that way people can know who you are and what it is that you can do. Because we all have different talents and different gifts and different things that can make us a good income. But if we are too afraid to put ourselves out there, we are not serving the population we need to be serving, and we're not putting out there what needs to be put out to help someone else to do what it is they need to do. So just take a bet on yourself. Have some courage was something someone else said, and ask the question to yourself, what is something that you can do that you can get others to pay for your service? Do the best that you can do. Be the best at whatever it is that you're doing. So that way, when someone comes to you, they know they're getting quality work. They're getting quality service, right? Someone said keep the cost low. A lot of times when we, as business owners, if we have or are in the beginning stages of our business, sometimes we do too much and make our costs too high, and it becomes too much, right? So focus on that, okay? Making sure it's affordable. You're not breaking anybody's pockets. You serve whatever audience and whatever market you're trying to serve. Don't try to fit in with everybody else, okay? And that for capital, if you are in investing, in order to make a substantial amount of money, you got to put out a substantial amount of money, right? You have to make money. You have to have money to make money in some cases. Sometimes you are able to make something with little, and there's plenty of YouTube videos out here that share that. But like I said, YouTube University is a great way to increase your knowledge, but pour into yourself, learn all that you can learn about your craft so that you can be at your best at all times. All right, so people can come to you for your expertise, and just connect with others and ask a lot of questions. All right, so that is all that I have for you today. I thank you so much for tuning in. Again, congratulations to our winners for last night's showcase. If you missed it, the live stream is on our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe if you have not subscribed to our email list. It's free $99, and download our app to stay connected with us so that you can see all the things that we don't post on social media, and then you can stay connected with us to learn all of our content ahead of time, before time, to stay up to date on all things intellects before anyone else. But I thank you so much again for tuning in to part 3 of creating generational wealth. Just know that wealth is not all about money and material things. Wealth is about building relationships that will last a long time, and so much more. All right, if you enjoyed today's session, comment, share this out with someone that you think might need it, and stay tuned, because we have so much going on at Intellects, from Meeting of the Minds Mondays, Q&A Wednesdays, Freestyle Fridays, our podcast Intellects, a place for entrepreneurs, in season 3. We have art and business seminars. We have merch, books, promo options, and so much more. But definitely go to intellects.com, go to our link in our bio, download that app, subscribe to our email list and our YouTube channel to stay informed. And until next time, I hope you have an amazing day and an awesome rest of your week.